All right, everybody, welcome to Word on the Street, powered by Lean Solutions Group. I'm Trey Griggs, Vice President of Sales at Lean Solutions, joined today by the street crew. We've got everybody in the house. We got Justin Shepard in the house. We've got Kyle McNaught, Coleman Ruffin. What's up, Coleman? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Ready in uniform for today and the
Ready?
weekend.
Oh my gosh, you got the master shirt on. I'm so jealous. Have you been there, or did somebody else get that for you?
Somebody else got it for me. They were thinking of me, which I appreciate. So shout out to Michael Atkinson if you're paying attention to this.
It is nice when people think of you, but I have to say it'd be much better if you bought it yourself. It'd be nice I'd probably hold on to that credit card slip. You know, that receipt would be right next to, like, on the wall somewhere. I was there. I paid for it. Got a credit card slip. So
definitely on the bucket list to make it out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely jealous about that. And I will say I'm similarly involved in, what's going on with this, because I'm currently streaming the Masters while I'm working today. I'm working hard today, but I've got to have it up there to make sure I see what's going on. So, we got that going on today. So I'm with you in spirit, my brother. I do have some hats, actually. I wonder where those are. I've got a couple of Masters hats where the same thing. Somebody was thinking of me. But that was really about it. So
I was going to say, I'm getting some weird looks because I'm probably going to be wearing this for the next 2 days and not taking it off. So
that's right. Sleeping in it, not washing it. Oh yeah, all those things. So oops, I just changed the screen there. Awesome. So Aaron, what's up? Diana, how are you guys doing? Thanks for joining. How's everything going?
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
And Eric's in the house. Excellent. Very good. Diana, where are you? There you. I don't see. No cameras. Aaron, did you not do your hair? Come on, girls. Let's go. Come on, ladies.
I'm eating my lunch.
So that was the inception of this whole thing. You got to do
right.
it.
I mean,
I know.
I've got my lunch right here. Like, this is what we're doing. So let's go. Let's make it happen.
I'm walking around right now, so in my house.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find food. I'm starving.
All right. Fair enough. Well, I'm definitely going to eat in just a little bit, which is great. So there's Aaron. What's up? We got Raquel coming in. All right. Life's getting back to normal. Eric, hey, missed you, buddy. What's going on? How are you doing? How's the move and everything going down in the Lone Star State?
Yeah, we went down and, Robert, he's the owner of Valor. He also has a bar, and we just purchased a building.
Remember that, yeah.
And the coolest thing was they didn't tell us because it was a surprise. The city and the county are redoing the downtown. Like, I'm sure everybody has one in their, not just downtown, but where they're doing like a total renovation of the street.
Renovation, yeah.
And they're redoing the streets with
reclamation projects, maybe something like that.
So much money, and the building we have is like right at the front. Like, I mean,
nice.
If you looked at like the corner, where they were going to put the corner at, it's like where there's a coffee shop that's already well established as a downtown place to hang out, and we're on the corner next to them. And the building was built in 1912. It still has everything original in it. Like we're keeping.
I can't wait to see some pictures from that. You're going to have to make sure that you hook us up with some pictures on that.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, we got really excited, and we were just planning on going down there and renting to see, how it's going to work out, because we're also opening the Prince downstairs and Valor upstairs. So we went down there. We just got so excited, and Robert said, "Hey, you know what? We'll just keep working on the building. We won't go in there yet until actually start working until for a little while, so you guys can wait." So now we're looking to buy a house there because we're going to be permanent. So yeah,
permanent.
It's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of things have changed for you in the last 6-12 months, man. No doubt about it.
Dude, I'm still struggling. I was just writing down some stuff about how I'm still struggling with mental health, because it's weird, like old school things that used to just be normal. Like if you get a little bit cold and you get that little bit of like I don't know, like a little bit of a shake from being too cold, your anxiety reminds you that's a sign of anxiety, but you're just a little cold. So like you could just go put a hoodie on, but if your mental health's off, you start to feel like, oh man, anxiety's setting in, and every little thing that has to do with anxiety will make you feel like that. And it could be anything. Like you come in from running and your heart's beating hard and you're just like, your brain senses it as anxiety, and your mental health shift is off.
Yeah.
Eric, we have
That's just
that problem
go ahead,
after we
Raquel.
eat.
Oh, do you?
As soon as we eat, then it's like your body's warming up, and then my whole household struggles with PTSD. So
Right.
I totally understand where you're coming from on
Man,
that. But
any little thing, it's just like it has the possibility of bringing it all the way back. And no matter how far away from that event that you can get back towards yourself at any moment without, I mean, I could say it's without your knowledge or anything, but it's not. Like you have to learn to recognize it before you let it affect your brain, because we get any type of input and we trust our brain to decide whether it's real or not. Like you hear a growl, you run or you don't run. And we've learned to have to think about that. Like, okay, it's not a growl, it's something else. I'm not going to take off running. But it's hard to get, when you get that sensitive to certain things like anxiety, it's hard to be like, oh, that's just a growl and it's not a big growl, like I'm good. But little things that just flip it right back on. And then like I'm pulling over on the highway because my tires sounds like they're flat, or I'm worried a lug nut's going to come off, or I mean, it goes out of whack really, really crazy.
Eric, that's interesting. Diana just mentioned she loves the fact that we're talking about this because it's such an important topic. And I would agree with that. I mean, think about how many people that, especially like when you had an office situation or just in life in general, you come across people, you have no idea what they're going through. You don't know their background. You don't know, their history or what they're dealing with or what triggers might be a problem. It is so important.
And all you see on their
constantly
desk
are open to that.
This is all you see on their desk.
Right.
They're happy
life. Everything's
good. Like, man,
that's
everything's so great. Like, I mean, because the business is going great. I mean, everything. I'm probably more proud of what I'm doing now than when I was actually when I graduated boot camp, which is crazy to say, because even watching boot camp graduations for me in the Marine Corps, it still makes me cry to this day, because I know what it means to that individual. Like, I know that they just, man, their life is like they're on the right path after they graduate from Marine Corps boot camp. And I mean, it's like that with a lot of other branches, but with the Marine Corps is so small, they keep things the same. So like no generation is like, well, we're different, we did this, I mean, it's still, it's like, no, man, you guys have it just as tough as we do. So
that's pretty cool. I love the fact that you have that. You have some consistency and that it doesn't change. There's something to be said about that. But the topic is important. I'm so thankful that you guys are open to share your experiences and talk about it. And it's so important because it's not so much important, I think, that you guys are talking about it for yourselves, but it's the fact that it gives permission for other people to talk about it. It makes it okay. Right?
That's how I feel about it.
That's so important.
It took me a while, but then I was like, man, you know what? When I share it, and I'm just like, man, it's just who we are. Like, we're humans. This is what we do. And sometimes things go wrong and we have to fix it. Whenever you talk about it like that, man, you don't know how many people you're saving from thinking they're crazy. Like that, man, I'm going crazy. Like, and I mean, there's steps all the way along the way that can trip you up. Because if you ever get medicine, you start taking medication, and then you hear about those people who are like bipolar, and then they went off their meds, and they're like kindergarten teacher chasing the kids around the classroom and stuff. And what happens is that stuff builds up in your body. So if you miss a day, you'll be like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I didn't take it and I still did okay. Like, I slept well, and the next day's fine. And then like 2 or 3 days later, whenever it's last used up in your body, just you're right back to where you were at without it. And man, those guys, a lot of people like that, they do really bad things. A lot of them commit suicide. And so
I just put a link into the chat for you guys to look at. It's a song by Matthew West called "Truth Be Told," if you haven't heard it. And it's incredible. And the very first line says this: line number 1, you're supposed to have it all together. And that's like the premise of this song, is just to think about that, because we're so good at just covering up what's going on. We're so good at putting on a good face. And, you a couple things happen with that. First of all, nobody gets to know who you really are, but then you start to feel like you're the only one that's dealing with anything, right? Because we put on these masks, we put on these covers of who we are. That's a powerful song. I'd encourage you guys to listen to it today. Incredible song. But thank you for being open enough to talk about that. I've noticed in my own life, I don't have PTSD, or at least I don't think I do. Maybe I don't understand it very well, but haven't had many traumatic experiences like that. But my issues were like growing up with my dad. I've talked about that a little bit, my lack of confidence and stuff like that. And what I found is the more that I'm willing to talk about it, the more that other people are just like okay with talking about where they struggle and recognizing that we're human and giving each other the benefit of the doubt, and really pulling for each other more, like there's just so much to be said about transparency and being vulnerable and being willing to be vulnerable. And this world tells us not to, but it is so important that we do it. You know what I mean?
I think it's just levels of it. Like, I mean, you could be afraid of chihuahuas, right? And like, because of a traumatic experience when you were a kid, and it's not life or death, but like some people,
real.
You've seen people that are afraid of needles, and like my wife, she's diabetic, and well, sometimes because like she's has a little bit of health problems, and then she'll be diabetic for a couple months, and she'll get back into it, and she'll be fine. But like she'll pull out her pin and just she's just like does that to the kids, and they're running, and it's like it's still got the cap. I mean, there's nothing, there's no needle exposure at all, but that's kind of like their PTSD, like the anxiety of that needle is huge. And so you just got to look at it as levels, like how bad does it, it could make you run from the room, or it could make you think about it for the rest of the week or something. So
I highly recommend also
struggle, that's for sure.
I threw a documentary in the chat. It's called The Weight of Gold on HBO. Phenomenal documentary surrounded around Michael Phelps and Olympic athletes. That it's the exact same thing that everybody's talking about. It's like everybody thinks that they have it all together and their whole life has been about this, but what happens when it's over, or what happens while they're going through it? And it's just exactly, I think Trey hit the nail on the head. You never know what somebody else is going through, and same thing with you. Like it's just people seem like everything's fine, but you always got to try it a little bit softly for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And speaking of needles, by the way, throw this in there. Both of my daughters got 3 shots this week each.
Wow.
So sorry about that. Yeah, so they're not happy about needles. I had to deal with that this week. So
that was kind of bad.
Beefcake
11th month
Bain.
You said speaking about needles, and then Robert Bain came on. That was horrible.
Wow.
Horrible.
Yeah, the timing.
Hold the brakes there, player. What are you implying, Mr. Cerda?
No. I didn't say it. Somebody else said.
Oh, you literally said
the
it.
timing.
Like your introduction.
The timing was suspect.
The timing, yeah.
That's right. Speaking of needles, everybody, welcome to the stage, Beefcake Bain.
You weren't implying that. It was just bad timing.
Here's all I can tell you. I cannot guarantee whether I've taken anything extra or not, but I have passed every drug test I've ever been on.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the official thing.
I don't have a problem with it anyway. Like you're training your body to do something specific. It may need specific nutrients.
Those aren't nutrients.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's where the slide is. Like you got to agree to this, and then the slide is what are nutrients. And that's where the argument lies.
I did a whole podcast on PEDs. Feel free to go check it out. Strength and Anger.
Nice. Yeah. Strength and Anger. I saw the last one you put on there, and then I picked up a couple other ones. Pretty good.
Nice. All right. So we're going to start today's show off with a mini version of This Week in the News. This is a personal version of This Week in the News. I apologize. I did not have time to really do a bunch of research on news issues, but this is definitely worth sharing. So first of all, and by the way, welcome Nick Roemer to the stage. Nick, good to have you back, man.
Hey.
Good to be back, guys.
Good to see you. Good to hear that voice, man. Good to hear that. You got some crazy stuff going on over there in your side of the world, by the way. Some militant action. I think I read about in the news, some stuff happening. But anyways, on to some positive news. So since we last met, I had the opportunity to go out and play some golf last weekend. And this is Naomi, my 11-year-old daughter, who loves to drive. Doesn't she look like she knows what she's doing? I mean, she absolutely loves to drive.
I was going to say, been driving since she's been 2, it looks like.
Well, it's funny because like we get to the course and she jumps in the driver's seat. I'm like, no, you can't do that yet. We got to get away from the clubhouse first. But once we get away from the clubhouse, dude, she rocks it for like 8 holes and absolutely loves it. And it's gotten to the point now where literally, because what I like to do when I play golf is I like to walk. I don't like to drive the cart. And so this is the first time that I said, hey, why don't you go ahead and pull it up to the green while I walk to the green? So I let her drive without me in the cart. She totally rocked it. She had a good time. So that was pretty exciting. And then, of course, the next day we had as all of you did as well, we had Easter. So we had a nice little time. There's my family now. Present day picture of my family. Look at Hannah. She is almost as tall as my wife. I mean, my wife is actually back up the hill a little bit here. So Hannah's 5'4" officially. She went to the doctor, so she's grown. I can't believe how old they're getting. But that's
notice how Trey said almost as tall as my wife and not almost as tall as me.
No, not as tall. She's got a long ways to go to catch up with me, man. Long ways to go.
Not that much.
So I'm not. Although I wouldn't be surprised if she's taller than me, because she's a size 8 shoe, and that's bigger than my wife's foot size. So maybe she will be as tall as me. You never know. And then of course the highlight of the week, everybody. I mean, this was the big moment of the week. Was I had the opportunity to actually hang out with Beefcake Bain in the flesh. Look how skinny he makes me look. I love this. I need to spend more time with Robert taking pictures, because I feel like I'm in shape when I look at this picture. Like, I love it.
I mean, first of all, round is
amazing.
a shape.
Look how,
Let's be very
but look how thick he is compared to me. I mean, like, I got pencils for arms.
Something tells me you couldn't quite catch 800 pounds though.
I don't know that I could do it. I don't think I could pull that off. That's for sure. But it was impressive nonetheless. And this was also, by the way, probably the first meeting maybe that I can remember in the last several years. We met with Scott Waldier of BCS Placement as well. And both of them are shorter than me. This was the first time that I was the tallest guy in a group of more than 2, and my wife wasn't in that group. So I was very excited about that I was actually tallest.
But the difference is both of you could hide behind me at the same time, and
That's true. That's true. That's true. Scott was about the same size as me, but it was a great time. We had a chance to actually get together. It's just so good to be together. We got to talk and share a terrible breakfast together, which wasn't even a breakfast. And so I gotta complain about Embassy Suites in Chicago near O'Hare. Love Embassy Suites in general, but I get there at 10:30 at night, and they're like, "Yeah, we have breakfast down here in the morning. Here's some bottles of water for you." And I'm like, "Yes, breakfast!" Like, they've brought it back, because every hotel no breakfast. I go down the next morning and the room is dark. There's nobody over there, and I said, "Hey, where's breakfast?" And they hand me a brown paper bag with I had a bagel in there. I had a little yogurt. I should have. I had what else was in there? There was
the orange.
There was an orange. Like, who's going to eat an orange on the road with your hands? And there's no napkins. And, like, who's going to eat that? And then there was what was the other? Oh, there were 2 egg whites, or 2 not egg whites, 2 boiled eggs that had already been peeled.
Just Trey, just wait until you come to Scotland. We'll do a very good full Scottish.
Okay, all right. Well, just do better than that, and I'm happy, because
that's every hotel I've been to. Probably 15 or 20 hotels since COVID started.
Yeah,
been my breakfast everywhere.
I'm with you on that. Like, me too. But they actually said breakfast down here in the morning. Like, I had the expectations.
Oof.
Like, my wife even went down and was like, "Where's breakfast?" I'm like, "It's the bag." Like, we were both incredible.
But then Trey, you're sitting there with the eggs and like these peeled eggs, and it takes Trey like 10 minutes to peel the rest of the shell off of all of them.
There were shells still in it. That's the thing. It was a peeled egg, and there were egg shells in it. Like,
stupid,
brutal. But anyways, so that's this week in news. And if anybody else has any pictures they want to share as well, you're welcome to that. But we're going to move on to our first segment of the day. And as you guys know, I've been saying this for weeks. This is my favorite time of the season when it comes to sports. We had March Madness over the weekend, had some exciting games. I really thought Arizona, by the way, where's Chris Jolly? Can somebody tell me where Chris Jolly is?
That point in the show where Trey goes, "Where's Chris Jolly?"
On the count of 3, everybody hit send.
Yeah. He's on site with a customer today. I know that, but he should still be here.
Like most of us,
everybody get a message right now.
Chris Jolly is currently
okay. Let's do it.
I'm sending one right now. Hey, buddy, where you at? Everybody send him something right now, and if you need his phone number, I will gladly give it to you. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Unreal.
Let's see what it is here.
Sent.
Well, it's gonna be great.
Right, there you go.
When he gets the
everybody's got his number now. Send him a text message and ask him where he's at, so we can get him on the show. But anyway, so going back to March Madness. So Arizona, the women's Arizona basketball team, almost pulled it off, upsetting Stanford. I actually thought they had a shot, but I was incredibly disappointed because everybody knew that the point guard was going to shoot the ball, and she could have dumped it off so easily for a bucket. All they needed was a 2-pointer. They didn't need a 3. I was so sad about that, because in that moment, she'll probably look at that game and go, "Why didn't I pass?" But in the moment, she was the best player, and everybody knew.
I was just happy to see him knock off UConn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime
that really
UConn
was their national championship.
A great day.
No doubt about it. Yep. So you saw Stanford pull off the victory, which is cool. My friend JD Gravina, who was supposed to be on today, but had a conflict. He wasn't able to join us. He's the head women's basketball coach at Western Illinois. 3 years ago, he coached a major team to the NCAA tournament. They won their conference championship. But in that season, they knocked off Stanford at home. Wow. And Stanford was a top 25 team at that time. So it was like a major win and incredible program there that Tara Vanderveer has over at Stanford. So congratulations to them. And then on the men's side, of course, just a tremendous weekend of basketball. And Baylor, I mean, there's no doubt who the best team in college basketball was this year. I mean, I literally thought Gonzaga was the best team. I thought they had the best passing internally. They had great defense. They talked really well. I thought Timmy was kind of a surprise. I didn't know how great he was till the tournament. But Baylor played they just played so much.
Baylor beat them like they stole something.
Right.
For sure.
Yes. They did. And I think that everybody was talking about or Gonzaga's perfect season. I think Baylor just had that posted up on the wall like, no chance. There's no chance we're giving up the next perfect season. And they just came out with
I don't know if you guys saw any of the reports, and I don't know if they're true, but it kind of got leaked that some of the Gonzaga players ordered some champagne before the game.
Oh, really?
To the Baylor team as well. I'm like, come on. I guess that's what happened.
Never say you're in a no-no when you're in a no-no. You can't do that.
So here's the thing. I'll say this from the athlete perspective. If you think you got it like that, again, you got to know you got it like that. You also want to be able to say yeah, we knew we were going to win. We ordered champagne before the game.
True.
So it was a catch-22.
Yeah.
So I'm of the opinion, Bain, and this just maybe says a lot about me, but I'm of the opinion that it's a lot easier to talk trash after you win than before you win. So I've always been the kind of where I just play the game, and afterwards I'm like, of course I knew I was going to win. You guys.
I'm the first guy to say, look at the scoreboard.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, that was a great tournament. It was cool to see Baylor win. Shout out to Bob Leaf of Containerport Group, who won $2,100 from Lean Solutions Group for winning the Lean Madness Bracket Challenge. Matt Kane came in second with Steam Logistics. He got $600, and third was Mark Weiss, who dropped a clean $300 for the weekend. So congratulations to those guys. And cool part about it, they didn't have to put any money in. It's free money. So congrats to those guys. And I'm really impressed that I actually named off all their names without even looking at anything. I don't have any notes here for that. I was a little nervous. I wouldn't.
You got an auto cue, right?
No. Got what? No, I got nothing. You think I got something in my ear? Think somebody's talking to me in my ear?
No, the auto cue. Remember,
back here?
Yeah.
What?
Like a teleprompter?
What's auto cue? Yeah, no. I have
auto cue is the screen behind.
Oh, I do have screens behind, but it doesn't have that information up there, Nick. I can promise you that. I could turn this around and show you right now. So, although, I should have a producer in my ear telling me these things. We're big enough now. We're global. I need a producer that's putting stats in my ear. That's the next step for Word on the Street is I can be like Jim Nance and Nick Faldo this weekend, just getting stats about the last time the guy made a bogey or something. Hello, friends. Jim Nance here. All right. Okay, so we're going to take a quick poll. We're going to listen to a little bit of Kansas, my friends. So I'm going to allow the poll panelists to vote. There you go. Now you got it. Everybody can do it. Go ahead and take this poll about spring sports. Aaron, I know you love this. And then we'll listen to Dust in the Wind by Kansas.
Oh, that's not the
Dustin,
good
you
one.
probably know this.
That's not a good one?
No.
This isn't a good song?
Carry On My Wayward Son.
See, Justin, you know this.
Well, it's not like they don't have just one good song.
That's all I know.
Isn't it funny that era, like in the 70s, you had all these bands that were being named after cities? I mean, how lazy do you have to be as a band, right? Kansas, Boston, Chicago. I mean, come on. Can we get creative here at all with the band names? But that was kind of a trend back then. A lot of people did that. It's pretty weird. Pretty crazy. Hey, something I noticed too, by the way, is when you guys turn off your camera, it takes you off of the Word on the Street recording on YouTube. Because we're now doing a webinar. So keep your cameras on, everybody. That's all I'm saying. Diana, Greg.
I'm like, damn, is that a
I was
hit?
doing an unbox, and I got something pretty cool from Amazon just now.
Oh, you did? Are we going to do an opening, a reveal right now?
I'm going to reveal right now.
We should do this. Hey, just wait. Hey, wait. Just wait. Let's get the poll finished.
Well, because you already heard the silly thing that I bought that arrived at my house the day before we met up. The stupid TV.
I do, but nobody else. Well, yeah, that was amazing. I did see that.
Well, now we need
Bain. Bain upgraded the TV. In fact, do I have that picture? I bet you sent me that picture, didn't you?
I did. I texted you that picture, the comparison picture.
I do. Let me pull this up, and I'll just while everybody's finishing up the panel, we'll take a quick look at it. By the way, Chris Jolly hasn't responded to me, so
he said he'll be on when he can. Weird.
Oh, he didn't respond to me. He's responded to you. Great. Okay. All right.
Because I'm prettier.
Okay, let me share. Oh, that's the wrong picture. Let me share my screen here. Where is it? Oh, okay, here we go. Here it is. All right, so this is what Bain was working on. Boom sauce right there. So the first TV here is the one he took off the wall, and the one behind it is the one he put up on the wall. So he went from what was that, 50 to a 75? Is that what you did?
Correct.
Wow.
That's awesome.
What brand did you go with, Robert?
Samsung, actually. I have had great success with their products. I'm a big fan of their TVs.
Yep, I've got Samsung too.
Both are garbage.
Yeah, the 75 is the way to go right now if you have the room.
Dude, the first time the kids played video games on it, they're like, "Dad, this is the greatest thing ever." You're right. You're not wrong.
They're like in the game. They're like feeling like they're in it. You know, needing some
they're
VR going on.
Fortnite, and the characters are 2 feet tall.
Yeah,
is a TV in the room with you right now. By the way, can you show us the TV?
I can.
Eric, go ahead while he shows us the TV.
I was just going to say, I used a 65-inch to play games, and then I moved back down to a 27-inch, and it's killer. It's made for 27. And video games are
made. Is the TV in the corner. You can see my window next to it for comparison. Yeah, it's very large.
Wow, I've never seen a TV that big not on the wall.
Yeah,
so that's pretty big. That's pretty big. All right, Justin, how about this one? You know this song? What is it? Real quick, before any words. Well done. Justin could be on that game, name that tune.
Name that tune. I'd make $1 million on that game.
Oh, that's Cameron. What means the world to you?
We got to create a campaign to get him on Name That Tune. That's what we got to do.
Can I share a picture, Trey?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, Trey, share, and I'm going to end the poll real quick.
While we're pulling out the unbox was a drinking horn for post-meat celebrations.
Is that what you just unwrapped?
That's just what I just got from Amazon.
That's what you just got?
Yep.
Love that. That's amazing.
All right, Justin, what do you got? Oh,
so
yes.
Is that showing up?
Update us.
So that was from last weekend. That's what we spent the weekend doing. So this is just one of the areas that was hit.
Wow.
It got pretty bad in a couple of areas. We didn't.
So that was a tornado, right, Justin?
That was down in Mississippi or Alabama?
Is it tornado?
Yes, tornado from northeast Alabama.
Northeast Alabama. Wow. Did it hit in a rural area though, or was that house kind of one of the few that was hit, or did it take out a long stretch?
Well, it went. This is the one. I don't know if you guys remember hearing about it, but
it on the ground for a long time.
120 miles, so all the way from the Mississippi line, all the way to northeast Alabama and into Georgia. So it went all the way across the state. We're supposed to.
Although that is, that's highly rural for the most part, though. But still, wow, that's a lot.
So
wow.
Tornadoes are scary.
Crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We're supposed to do it again tomorrow, but we're supposed to be expecting severe thunderstorms again tomorrow as well. So don't want to be swinging saws around when it's lightning and thunder.
No doubt. All right, well, let's talk about this poll real quick, and then we can move on to bigger and better things. And welcome, Meshach. Good to have you, bud. How you doing? All right, excellent. Okay, moving on. So sharing the poll results. Okay, there he is. There's Meshach. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
Sorry, I didn't see I was muted. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday to you as well. And just so everybody knows, we've got a new third Thursday next week. So next Thursday at noon Central, Load Shores putting on another third Thursday event via Icebreaker. Really fun event. If you haven't been to it before, make sure you send that. Meshach, would you put the invite in the chat so everybody can see that? And if they want to register, they can. Really fun activity. They have great comedians on there and actors and good topics. And every once in a while, they throw me a bone and let me come on there. So It's pretty cool.
They've been so much fun. Those Thursdays are like great.
We now use
Thanks, Trey.
icebreakers at Lean Solutions Group internally because it's such a good, such a good tool. So
Yeah.
Lots
it's
of fun.
It's a
lots of
great
fun.
way to connect with other people, especially when it's still traveling is still problematic at times.
I would take that a step further and say it's probably one of the best ways to engage with people online because of the one-on-one aspect. So basically they have these games. If you're not familiar, you can go one-on-one with a random person, but what it does is it doesn't show your video. It only shows their video. Because what we tend to do as humans is we look at ourselves, not anybody else when we're on a video call. And this way you're looking directly at them. There's cards that prompt discussion, and it's just really fun. A lot of cool stuff. So if you're not familiar with Third Thursday through LoadSure, make sure that you sign up and check it out next week, Thursday at noon Central Time. So Meshach, thanks for joining me. Good to have you. All right, so let's chat about the poll we just did. We're talking about spring sports here. Meshach, you missed out on the poll, but that's all right. So question number one, I shared this with you guys. Which sports are you more inclined to watch this time of year? NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, PGA Tour, MLB, mixed martial arts, or other? The majority of you said other. Okay, so some of you PGA Tour, I love you. MLB, yeah, a few of those. I got a couple of those. One NCAA basketball, one NBA. Tell me what the other is.
Girls,
I always miss
women's
this.
softball.
Women's softball,
Man,
college, right?
Women's
right, college women's softball. Yeah, on ESPN. It's so fast. It's such a fun sport.
Getting close to the Olympics
is
going to be great.
Yeah. It's such a fast sport, no doubt about it. It's very, very fast, a lot of fun to watch. What else was the other? Not just softball.
For me, it's all the soccer, all the qualifiers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I always forget the soccer. Sorry,
Dude,
my
yeah,
bad.
change
Sorry,
it.
Bain.
EPL, La Liga, you got Serie A, you got the Bundesliga, everything. So much football.
Oh man, there's so much going on right now. It's like every day there's something.
Exactly.
When so you guys educate me on this because I didn't grow up a soccer fan. I'm not a soccer fan. When are the playoffs for the Premier League, or how does that work? When does it really get good? Is it now? Is it fall? Is it summer?
Well, now they've got all the qualifiers for the World Cup, and so they got the qualifiers for the World Cup, then they got the qualifiers for the Euros, and they're like 2 years apart. But like it's that's why there's so much going on.
When is the World Cup? I feel so ignorant. When is the World Cup?
So it's every 4 years.
Yeah.
Right, but is it this
Next
year?
one is 2022.
Okay, so it's next year. Okay. So
yeah, it's in Bahrain.
No, it's in Qatar.
Yeah,
sorry,
Qatar, where it's going to be 140 degrees at
Qatar
game, and
they've spent $13 billion getting ready for this World Cup. They are going to lose so much money.
If you want to know a fact about,
they got
I don't know
money over there, right?
I don't know the stats, but the amount of people that have lost their lives building the stadiums.
Yeah.
Almost
there's been a lot of publicity about the basically slave labor going on building stadiums, and that the game time temperatures are going to be insane. And
I don't know if you remember the World Cup was it the World Cup in the US? That was it was extremely hot that year, and they had like midterm breaks and stuff that normally just don't happen. But Qatar is what was that?
20 degrees hotter than that.
That was
who put this plan together?
That was
Who
all
put this idea together?
Money is what put the plan together.
Money.
Well, they've got oil money over there, so they can do what they want. But that's pretty crazy.
Wasn't the guy who decides where it goes just like a year or two ago? Wasn't he just replaced or something?
It's all corruption.
He got bribed.
Huge corruption file.
My favorite thing about soccer in the professional is that they can get relegated. Like
right, they can get dropped down.
That's the best. In the highest league, it's like peace. You can't come back to this league for a while. You got to go to another one. And I thought, man, Major League Baseball had that, and there was only like 16 teams that were like in the league or something, and the rest would be in the lower league. Man, that would just be crazy. That's awesome. That's
the competition would definitely increase.
Yeah,
it's such a good model because it discourages people to do the tanking method, right?
Yeah.
If you tank, it's like, you're out of the league. You got to work your way back up.
And
right. Nobody be tanking.
If you're a bad owner, like some of those movies are made out of, like any of the Major League Baseball movies and stuff, like where it's a bad owner, and what that doesn't work. Like you can't,
right.
If you run it into the ground because it won't make it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that make sense about that. But I feel so educated now. I mean, I don't know anything about soccer, so appreciate the education there. That was wonderful.
It also serves as a form of punishment if you think about it.
Yeah, Juan, what's up, man? How are you?
from Colombia talking
Hey,
about
missed you guys.
Things in Colombia. We did miss you last week, my friend. But things in Colombia, I hear we were actually planning on coming down to Cartagena and Barranquilla in a week, and we had to cancel the trip because everything's going on down there. So you guys are back to being locked down, right? There's Ginger. Sorry, Juan.
Yep.
You guys are back to being locked down, right?
We're back. We're just holding hands with Nick right now, like again in lockdown. I got depressed yesterday.
Meanwhile,
for like
in
30
Texas,
minutes.
you can do anything you want in Texas. There's no pandemic in Texas.
No,
that's how that works.
Georgia did the same, right? Georgia just like lit up. Although I was there like 2 weeks ago and there was nothing. I was the only one wearing a mask walking around.
Which wave is that? Like, are you guys in your third wave as well, or with like where are we?
Third
Down in
wave,
Colombia?
fourth wave, fifth wave, no problem.
This is our.
We're surfing now.
This is a third wave. Our ICUs are surprisingly at 98%.
Yeah.
Opening back up is not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're not coming down there. But also, I've heard that like there's been very limited vaccine distributed in Colombia. I don't know how much, but very limited, if any. Which we talked about it last week a little bit, but the wealthier countries get the first take of that stuff, and then eventually it kind of filters down, and so you've got parts of the world that aren't going to see the vaccine for a long time, and that's a recipe
mad.
for disaster as well.
We're like in the UK, we're by June we should have the whole of the UK at least had their first vaccine.
Yeah,
and more than 60% should have had their second by then.
Yeah, and some countries won't have any at that point yet still, which
is
exactly pretty sad. So pretty wild for sure.
Do you guys see the news about that president that got the vaccine and then he got COVID like a month later? I think it was the Argentinian guy.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he got COVID right after it, like a month later.
Interesting. I'm not sure what that means, but that's pretty interesting. All right,
it does
next.
happen.
What was that, Aaron?
It does happen. People do get COVID, but the whole point of the vaccine is that you don't get it as bad as the initial. Yeah, you don't have to go to the hospital, hopefully.
Right. It's only
your body's got some ability to fight back. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have a direct connection to Bill Gates, and you can
imagine this being a seasonal thing.
What was that one?
Can you imagine this becoming a seasonal thing? Like every year,
like flu,
more or less
like
around
every
this
year.
time. It's like, oh, we just shut down the country because everybody's tired and asphyxiated.
Well, hopefully that will not be the case. I don't think people would allow that to happen, but we'll see what happens.
I hope.
God, if only we
All
had
right.
I'd like to ask a question.
like in our bodies to
I'll keep
fight.
going. We're not going to get through this sports poll. Keep talking.
If only we had that.
Come on, Trey.
Right.
We got to at least do the Masters talk.
And we're back. Okay. All right. So what was the biggest sports storyline last week? Was it Jordan Spieth winning again? Love seeing that. Stanford winning, Baylor winning. No Major League Baseball teams are undefeated after 1 week. So nobody's really coming out of the gate super hot. Did you guys read about Phillip Adams, the former defensive back, the murder-suicide? That was crazy. That goes right back to our initial conversation, probably about some mental health issues.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got Lee Elder starting the Masters, which is a really cool story if you guys aren't aware of that. He's the Jackie Robinson of golf back in 1975. He played the Masters, first black man to do so. Didn't win the Masters, but certainly paved the way for black people to participate more in golf. And, of course, Tiger Woods won in 97 and referenced Lee Elder as a pioneer and somebody that he looked up to. So that was pretty cool as well. So majority of you say Baylor winning and then to the Phillips Adams murder-suicide. That was nuts. That was really crazy. And, it's like, you think about situations like that. We all do that where we go out to the store, we go somewhere. We never think that this is going to be it. We never think something crazy is going to happen like that. And again, we just don't know what people are going through. So pretty wild. But I'm excited to see Jordan Spieth back in the winner's circle. We'll see what happens this week of the Masters. Who's your pick? Speaking of which, for the Masters, 4 of you picked the field. That's the smart one. 4 of you don't care in spirit of Chris Jolly. Appreciate that. 1 of you, Jordan Spieth, and 1 of you, Justin Rose. So thanks for entertaining me on the sports questions there. We will move on from that poll because clearly we don't want to talk about that so much. Juan, tell us a little bit more about what you're talking about with COVID. Let's go back to that for a minute, and then we'll jump on our last poll about transportation.
Well, how many of you feel burnt out about the entire lockdown restrictions? I mean, I think the other day, for example, when they started talking about we were going to lockdown again, I had like a little moment of mental breakdown. I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Where I got overstressed for being at home, which I'm usually doing. And I don't like going out anymore, but just the fact that I can't go out at will makes me feel completely under the water.
I'm going to go back to what JD Redmond said a year ago on this show when this all started. And he said people will have PTSD from this. They will suffer mentally from this. And I got to give it to him, like, the foresight that he had on that, because I honestly didn't think this would go more than like 6 months. And here we are a year into it. And even in many cases, like you're talking about, Juan, the end is not in sight, and I can't imagine how discouraging that news was to just, here we go again. Is this ever going to end? Is this nightmare ever going to end?
It's like a marathon where the goal just keeps moving another mile, another mile, another mile.
We need you to run 26 miles. Okay, now it's 35 miles. Okay, now we're doing,
but Trey,
53,
we're just following the science.
My Marines, whenever we would run, whenever I'd take them for a run, we'd head back towards the barracks right by the chow hall, and you could smell the bacon. And then I'd take a left back into the hills and go for like another 1.5 miles. Oh man, that tests their will right there. Because they start to quit as soon as they smell that bacon, and then you take them for another 1.5 miles. That's what's going on. I guess, if you get locked down again, you're kind of like, damn, I could smell the bacon. And now now we're getting locked down again.
That's why they send the next stimulus check. It's like, oh, it's fine, guys. Here's your bacon. And then
depression. It's
another 6 months, no problem.
I recommend the Stockdale
We have a
method.
guest. Sorry, Meshach. We have a visitor. We have Nick. Remind me of his name again.
Eli.
Hiya.
Eli, that's right. Hi, Eli.
Gonna say hi to everyone.
Hiya.
Hi.
Hi,
What?
Eli, what are you eating?
I'm eating ice cream.
My man, ice cream for dinner. I like that. I appreciate that.
We should all be eating ice cream right now. That is way better. So, Meshach, you were saying, and I apologize. What were you saying there before I interrupted?
I recommend the Stockdale method, Admiral Stockdale. The way he survived being imprisoned for so long. One, he observed, kind of like others before him, that the people who were really being optimists and being like, or setting dates, and we're going to get through this and all this stuff, those are the ones that always cracked. The people that survived the best through these situations of imprisonment, specifically in this situation, but it was the people that just said, you know what, eventually we'll get through this, and right now it's just one day at a time, because all you got to do is get through the next day. That's it. And if you don't think about the what ifs, and you don't like try to get overly optimistic, like it'll be fine, we'll be out of this by X period of time, but that indeterminate future, he found that the best way was just to be optimistic and just live one day at a time and know that eventually it will end and things will be better.
Yeah. That's great. I apologize, I got a little distracted here. So Diana says that her daughter keeps saying hi to Eli. So, but we wouldn't know that because the camera's not on. So, that's how it goes.
Sorry, Trey.
Meshach, I think you make a good point.
I love it. I love it.
At the end of the day, this too shall pass. Whenever it is. We can't set a date on it. We don't know. But this too shall pass. Everything passes eventually.
Yeah. And we'll deal with it. And we'll life goes on, and there's going to be losses, and there's going to be what Dr. Boss calls ambiguous loss, which is a really painful kind of loss where we've lost some stuff, but what have we lost? And then also, for people, family, friends that have died during this period of time, or that we've lost, that's a very ambiguous loss where we weren't really able to be there with them. and but we'll get through it. The sun will shine again.
Hey, we have a guest. Hello.
Say hi. You want to see? Here, let's go. I'm on my phone, so let's scroll to see Nick's son. There he is.
Matchmaker, right there. That's what's going on.
So this is love.
I'm glad this is a child-friendly show, Trey. So
Chris Jolly isn't on, so it's rather child-friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
I'm very tame today too, so I'm proud of myself.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. So we're going to transition real quick because we've had some things in the news happen recently. So we're going to talk a little about, I was talking to Raquel this week, who I had a great conversation with, and we were talking about, you know, things that are happening in the industry, obviously from her chair. She's, you know, in the broker seat. Some of you all are also in that seat. I'm not in that seat. So I was getting some feedback from her, and she was talking about, all right, Bain, see you, bro. She was talking about the impact of rates and what it was actually doing in her business with the flatbed business. And so I thought that was very interesting. So I want to get your take on how the truckload rates, how that's going to be impacting the market moving forward, especially as we move into produce season and things change. So share with me your expertise and why you're doing that. We're going to listen to a little Marvin Gaye, everybody. This one's for the matchmakers out there. That's what this one's for. Yeah, Eli's grooving to it. I like it. I like it.
Like I feel.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
My darling.
Let's get it on. Marvin Gaye is one of those guys that I would want to be friends with that guy. Like in high school or college, he just seems like a cool guy. Probably had a little popularity back in the day.
We're all sensitive people.
Uh-huh. You can see Justin. Justin was playing this for his dates back in the day. He had this going in the car on the dates.
Yeah, because this is what was popular when I was dating.
Hey, this didn't have to be popular when you're dating. This is just what you played, man. This is popular all the time when you're on a date, man. This is the way it is.
I also would have had to have gone on dates, and I did not. So,
well, we used to play Genuine with Tony when I was dating.
All right, how are we doing? We're almost done with this. Very good. While we're waiting, anybody got any big plans this weekend? Anybody doing something fun?
Me and my buddies are going to stream WrestleMania.
Oh,
we all watch it on
WrestleMania.
Zoom. We talk trash. We bet.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, super fun. We did during the Rumble. I was the
That's a
final
good idea.
two. I lost it. Stunk. Although Mania stinks this year. I'm not excited for it at all.
Well, I know what Coleman and I are doing. I'm plopping myself in front of my computer and I'm watching the Masters. I'm streaming it on several different devices here so I can get the, Amen Corner, the featured groups, the broadcast going. I'm going to have it all up on my computer.
It's one of the best weekends to literally sit inside and just on the couch watching TV, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but in Mass right now, the weather's like 70. Like, it's the worst because you're like, I want to do that, but it's such beautiful weather inside. You're like, I guess I got to try to.
No, this is the one weekend where I sacrifice it.
Dude, Kyle, start pulling out those extension cords, get the TV rolling outside.
Oh, no, I do that. Trust me, that happens. It's
Yeah,
also the wife doesn't let me put the
playing
porch.
golf or something.
I'm definitely going to play golf as well this weekend, but the wife doesn't let me put out the porch furniture until we paint the deck. And because you got to wait for the false winter to show up, I can't do that just yet, but I try to find ways to be outside.
I
love spring. I love the weather turning. I think we have. Greg, you said it last week, but I think we have officially the weather has turned. We're doing much better now.
I said it last week, and then we're getting the crappy weather right now. I did hear somebody say, at least we're getting it this weekend so that they don't feel bad about sitting inside all weekend.
Yeah, it was just a little early last week because we got the bad weather too. But now we're back to being, we got some pretty good weather coming in this weekend, which is great. So.
Yeah, rain and 50s.
Yep, I got to mow my yard for the first time. This is my first mow of the season coming up. So I'm not looking for that at all, but that's what we're doing. All right.
Jay, talking about weather, the other day we had testing. Oh,
Go ahead, Juan.
My internet's bad. We had hail for 2 hours, probably this size here in Medellin.
Do you get that often? Probably not, right?
15 minutes. No, I've never seen that. It was like
really?
ice coming out of the fridge, just pouring out of the fridge on the corners of the buildings.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. It does wonders
That's
for
our
cars and
Texas
roofs.
winter.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you have hail damage here, you get those contractors to start driving around, seeing if they can inspect your roof so they can, tag the insurance company for a payday.
Yeah.
That's what happens
I used
here,
to sell
so.
that when I was like 18. So.
Yep. All right, let's talk about transportation real quick. So what is the biggest impact on the increase in van rates? And this is what Raquel talked about, because Raquel, you're in flatbed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
You were saying that your flatbed drivers are doing what now?
A lot of flatbed drivers have parked their trucks and switched to vans. Yeah, a lot of them.
Crazy. Because if they're going to make the same amount, or even just a little less, but they don't have to do all the flatbed work. They just back up, load it, take off.
The van prices are hitting $3 a mile. Flatbed still is hovering now, maybe $2.25. It used to be under $2. $1.80, $1.85 would be my going rate. Now I've got to pay $2.50 if I even want a truck, if I can find one.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's crazy. So you see a lot of these things happen. You see tender rejection rates on contracted rates. The contract market is feeling that, creating volatility in the spot market. That's huge. Nobody put shipper on rest. You think the shippers are cool? They're just kind of riding it out. I mean, they've been riding it out for a while now.
The shippers are not cool. I mean, they're
Yeah,
upset. They're as upset. I guess, I put maybe I should have put shipper unrest, but it's the issues with capacity. It's just infuriating everybody. So the prices aren't the issue. It's get me a truck then.
Right. And the typical ways about finding trucks, I think it's changed a little bit, because you would rely on a certain percentage of your business was contract or dedicated, and you had those there, and now you don't have them. So now you're spending more time on the spot market. It's taking longer to book a truck. You need more hands on deck. We've seen a huge increase at Lean with carrier sales, and companies saying, hey, can we get 5 carrier sales reps because we need more manpower, because they don't have those 40, 50% that are dedicated that they rely on anymore. Now it's down to 10%, and everything they're moving is spot related. So it's creating quite a havoc. But when Raquel said that flatbed trucks are parking their trucks and going to vans, I thought, wow, that's to me, that's a pivot. That's a turning point in where we're at, something that we haven't really seen before. So Raquel, what are you doing to overcome that? I want to put you on the spot. How do you overcome that?
I am trying to just really create relationships with owner operators and small trucking companies.
Bye,
the
Nick.
guys that
Hi,
also
guys.
need to have the support just as much as we do.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to resell them on why they should run for you. Pay them a little more, offer them something. I mean, widen your scope of carriers that I mean, at this point, you've got to go really wide to find more carriers who aren't doing that. Yeah. I would imagine. So
two of my biggest clients are flatbed carriers, and they are struggling right now. They're typically hiring here at the location here. They both typically hire 30 or 40 drivers per week. They're struggling to get even people to show up right now. And I think that's one of the reasons, because they're not changing that's hard work. Like these guys,
flatbed is hard work.
Sales, and a lot of times for van, it's just kind of like, not that they are, but it's not comparable.
It's different. It's
so they're saying, well, why am I going to kill myself to do this when I can get more to do that? So
Right. Exactly. And take it a little bit easier on my body.
Right.
Make it
it's not like these guys are all 22, 24-year-old in great shape.
Right.
It goes even further.
Hey, some of them are,
because a lot of guys, we haven't been getting it, but we get told by drivers all the time that, man, you know what, I'm going to take it, and don't worry, I won't call you back when I get called for a higher rate. Because that's what a lot of them are doing with those tender rejections. They're not just doing it. They're not just doing it with contracted freight. They're doing it with spot freight.
If you can call any of those carriers,
you get a price. And set up a rate with them.
Go down to
you get the rate confirmation. They're bold enough to just tell you in an hour, or hey, well, we can't do it now. And for sure they took someone else's rate, a higher rate, and that's happening at an all-time high. I think yesterday on What the Truck they said 25%. Is where it's at. So like only 3 out of 4 contracted rate freight is actually getting moved. So these guys are making their choices, which obviously that happens all the time, but like right now it's at an all-time high. So
it's crazy.
This is about to come out. It's going to get.
Yep, that's in there as well. We got that as the third question. So way to jump ahead there, buddy. But let's go to question 2 first. So I was looking at the DAT national rate for vans, and it was right around 252. And the question is, will the national average peak? I know, Raquel, you're saying that they're getting above $3 a mile, but not nationally. Will the rates go so high that the national average will end up above $3 for the peak? And you guys are all saying yes, it will. That's crazy. That's almost because that means that the high demand lanes are getting 4 or 5. Maybe $6 a mile for some of those, and I mean, it's crazy. That's crazy. It's pretty wild for sure. All right. And on to question 3 is, we're coming up on produce season. The oranges will be flowing soon in Florida and other places. So how much will produce season impact van rates? The majority of you think it's going to be 11 to 25% increase. I mean, if we're talking about $6 a mile, that's another, $1 to $1.50 a mile on the rates from the loss of the capacity for produce season. It's wild. This is crazy.
I want to hear what you guys' thoughts is on the economy after all of these rate increases. Where do we feel we're going to be? I mean, somebody's going to end up paying, Yeah.
Well, I mean, eventually, prices will go up. I think we've said that. Eric, what are you going to say?
I was going to say that my biggest concern, I guess maybe because it's the side that I see the most, is the truck drivers that are individual operators that start to try to live off of these rates. If they're building their company and they're making it where these are the rates that they're used to, because maybe they just started driving for themselves in the last year, and they're overlooking historical data that it's going to go back to a lower rate, and they're living their life or running their company like this is a more common rate. I feel bad for them, because then they're not going to, there's going to be a lot of bankruptcy once things go back down, if there's companies that are living that way. Brokers too.
Which often happens in these types of markets, right? We've seen it before. They either buy too many trucks, or they start living way too extravagantly. They're not used to what's normal. And then when it does come back down, the capacity comes back in. It's crazy. But this is such a unique market. It's like this just continues to go on. When is the end? I mean, if you look at the next 6 months, it's not going to be the next 6 months. Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be 18 months? It's just crazy to think about. And Juan, you had a good point in the chat. You're concerned about inflation. I agree with that. I think that, our money's going to become worth less and less because of this, over time. Some people are really going to win out and they're going to make a lot, but for the average person, our value is going to be worth a lot less.
And what we do, Trey, that's not good. A strong dollar is very important for how the world works. What I found, I don't know, I was actually going to ask Meshach about it, because I was looking at the reports about the inflation, and I didn't see in the original reports a lot of the, M1, M2 monies being tracked. It's like if they didn't want to disclose it that much. And I think, from an economical perspective, reason being is that it's fairly getting out of control. And most of it, I think, has to do with all those checks that have been going out. And I think I said it before a few times, is like, we probably can do another one, but after that, we really need to see how the machine is going to react, if it's going to overheat or if it's going to shut down. And honestly, the world's been very weird lately, so anything can be expected.
Meshach, you got anything on that?
Yeah, go for
Put you on the spot.
I mean, I think inflation is upon us. It's just doing the fits and starts thing, not with some big spike, but I think you're seeing it all over the place. The restaurant prices, anybody dealing with produce is certainly feeling it. And I just feel like it's just kind of fits and starts, and it's across the board. And I think that just takes a little while for it to really realize, from what I've read and what I've seen. But I'm no expert.
I know I can't get out of Chick-fil-A with my family of 4 for under $30. So, these prices have gone up a little bit. Wood, like we talked about earlier, wood prices are like $5.50 per 2x4 right now where I live, which, 5 years ago it was $2, $2.20. It's spiked a lot recently.
And it's in the U.S.'s interest to have inflation. We want to have that quantitative easing. We want to have that debt value go down.
Yeah, so true. Well,
I wonder how that's going to affect mortgage rates, and how that's going to later affect if they're going to, if the Fed's going to raise or lower their interest rates. And that's where I'm seeing, is the machine going to overheat, or is it going to we're gonna go down in slow motion.
Like we're hardcore looking every day and talking with like banking. And I don't know if y'all saw my post. I was looking for credit, but it was for something else besides the house. But because I just wanted it to get a little bit higher so I could afford a better car. But that's a total different thing. But the housing market, the housing market, it's crazy right now because a lot of people are still betting on it, and it's like the boom again or the bubble, or a lot of people are standing on the outside like, hey, this is a worse position than we were in 2008. And so, man, we're just confused. Like we want to buy, and then we're like, it could be so much better if we we could buy 2 homes potentially if the bubble popped for what we're going to buy now, an investment home or whatever.
But you never know, right? And this is different because there's more money in the economy right now. The white collar worker wasn't impacted as much. So there is money. People have been working, staying from home. It's not like the whole economy crashed and everybody suffered. It's really been a segregated impact. You know, the service industry and a lot of the lower income workers were really hit hard, but a lot of the professionals were not hit nearly as hard. So you're seeing these wealthy people buying up real estate like crazy right now because they have the money. It's not like before where people who didn't have money were buying real estate. That was 08, 07. Here, people who have money are buying real estate. So it's a little bit different, but it looks like we're up against time because everybody's bailing on us. So we'll call it a week, but it's great to see you guys again. We won't talk about the Class 8 trucks. Maybe we'll get to that next week, but I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Watch the Master, get out and play some golf, and we'll see you next time on Word on the Street, powered by Lean Solutions Group.
Trey, I
see
have
everybody.
a suggestion for your next poll.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Is DMX dead or not?
Oh no,
I don't know what's happening.
I know Twitter's kind of crazy. I'll be sure to put that in next week just for you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya.